evidence was overwhelming that caused a change in the science. There's evidence that would support the conviction of this individual who's now been executed was faulty science, had no foundation whatsoever, that there was no arson committed. The other testimony before him was faulty testimony by a jail snitch who later recanted that testimony, none of which he brought to the attention of the authorities. For that reason, there's no evidence to support the conviction. We are hopeful that the court will enter an order exonerating his name and restoring his name and his reputation.
Could that come as early as tomorrow?
Well, I don't know what the court schedule is, but certainly the evidence was so overwhelming, and I think y'all presented such a tight case, I think there was very little reason to think you couldn't have something very soon.
Will you speak just real quick, background on yourself and how many executions occurred when you were governor? I mean, certainly there was a history there where you're on the other end of the line.
Well, it started when I was Attorney General.
How many times did you have to say the state will proceed?
It was over 20 cases, and we reviewed each one of them thoroughly, looking for just the problems we found in this case. Changes in science, changes in someone's testimony. Did they have a proper hearing before the courts, and did they have good legal counsel? Were they properly represented? Did they have a chance to investigate? Were the appeals fully explored? All of those issues I went over personally with my counsel. We spent hours upon hours on every case trying to make certain there was nothing happening such as what we saw happen.
What do you think about Governor Perry ignoring the last findings?
Well, you can't ignore that. You cannot let that happen. And it's a dreadful tragedy. This is irreversible punishment. And for that reason, I would personally stay up till that execution took place with the Attorney General at the prison. The governor would be standing by the phone waiting to see if anything occurred, that we would stop that execution in order to give that person his rights under the law.
So he did a mistake.
Governor Perry should have done that?
Well, there was a failure here. The system is clear that this person did not have access to the courts, he did not have access to the clemency hearings, and access to the governor.
So he did a mistake.
Well, the evidence seemed very clear that there was no acknowledgement of the report that was prepared by authorities in this area, which should have convinced any reasonable person that no arson occurred.
Have you been contacted by him about this case?
No.
We wish he would.
Would you contact him?
He's aware of my feelings about this. I'm also very concerned about the way our Court of Criminal Appeals has handled its procedures before the death penalty. It's my view that the judge in that case, sua sponte, should have gone and stopped that execution. The judge knew of the Supreme Court's actions that day and knew it fit foursquare with this type of execution we perform here in Texas.
Are you talking about Josh Keller by any chance? Or?
It was a case in which they closed the courts. The clerk closed.
Would you support a moratorium on executions?
Well, if they don't do it, the standards should be set higher than they are today, and they certainly shouldn't be carrying out executions without meeting the standards that we're talking about, both forensic standards as well as procedural standards. And if they're not willing to do that, they're the ones that have undermined the death penalty.
Do you think Governor Perry should review his actions on this?
Well, it's a little late on this one, but certainly in the future, hopefully this will be a lesson to everybody concerned. The failures that were presented here today should never be given an opportunity to reoccur.
Do you think this can hurt him for the next elections?
I don't have any comment on that.
Okay.
Barry?
This man right here did these two gentlemen here did a magnificent job of assembling the facts, the evidence, the testimony. You saw it today. This is the most thorough presentation I've ever seen in a matter such as this. It's overwhelming. It's unbelievable that this went on in Texas. I suspect it goes on in other states as well, and that's the reason we need to re-examine the death penalty. It should be rare and frequently used, and only overwhelming evidence of guilt.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Copy of the web.